Fängt's jetzt von vorne an, oder?
Stanley knew the office layout like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before he found the others, wherever they were. Just a matter of time.
Was anderes.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Soll ich nochmal rechts gehen?
Ja.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room,
Okay.
and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
War das jetzt
Perhaps
echt
he
ein
wanted to
mögliches
stop by the
Ende?
employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Ich weiß es
Stanley
nicht.
felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach. Giddy in a way he had, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Ich weiß es nicht.
Ich bin mir echt nicht sicher.
Ist das jetzt ein echtes Ende oder ist das jetzt einfach auch nur so Fake-Ende?
Geh mal geradeaus.
Ja.
Telefon abnehmen? Fragezeichen.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot
weiß es
here.
nicht.
I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust
wie
in
springen
someone
jetzt
else
runter?
can be difficult,
Ja,
but the
runter.
fact is that
Ja,
the
spring erst mal
story has
runter
been
und,
about nothing but you. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others?
Zero.
Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why?
alles
I don't
klar.
know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me
Haben wir Rot schon
prove that I'm on your
Ja,
side.
da war ja die Plattform.
Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important.
Wollten wir nochmal ausprobieren.
Stanley walked through the red door. Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
Okay, also ich glaube, es ist aber jetzt wieder der Anfang.
Ja, könnte
Do
sein.
we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy.
Mal gucken, wie lange er sich happy fühlt. Ich will echt mal wissen, wie lange wir da stehen können. So, ein bisschen warte ich noch.
Ja, ein bisschen geht noch.
Sag mal so, es ist ja auch entspannt, ne? Gute Nacht, Marco. Mann, ich traue dem Spiel zu, dass da irgendwann was passiert.
Runterspringen?
Kann ich nicht. Aber ich kann auch nicht so lange nichts tun. Geht nicht. Du wirst immer kleiner in der Kamera, sehe ich gerade. Ein Vince Marco. Ein WM. Ein Vince Marco. Ach, Mann. Ach, Mann. Wollen wir uns runterstürzen? Ich glaube, wir können nur runterstürzen, oder?
Kann sein.
No, wait. Where are you going?
Ah, gut, das kennen wir schon, das kennen wir schon.
Oh no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt
Okay, also
yourself,
passiert
if you
nichts,
die,
verdammt.
the game will
Okay.
reset. We'll lose all of this.
Da müssen wir das Telefon nochmal abnehmen.
Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me.
Ich traue dem Spiel zu, dass da was passiert.
No!
Was denn?
Weiß ich nicht, irgendwann. Also wenn du da 10 Minuten
No,
stehst,
what are you
auch.
doing, Stanley?
Könnte passieren.
Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this?
Ich kenne noch,
Let's go back to the other
Monkey
Mon-
Island.
Monkey Island.
Is this really
Ja, genau.
how much you
Kann
dislike
elf
my
Minuten die
game?
Luft anhalten.
That you'll throw yourself from this
Ja, ich glaub auch
platform
schon.
over
10
and
Minuten
over to
irgendwas.
be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy.
Ja, es tut
Am I
mir leid,
reading
aber
the
trotzdem.
situation correctly? Or maybe you're just getting a kick
Wenn
out
man
of
10
it.
Minuten in diesem
I don't know
Unterwasserscreen
anymore.
verbracht hat, dann...
I just wanted us
Dann
to get
Druck.
along,
Warst du tot?
but I
Das
guess
war
that was too
schön.
much to
Ja.
ask.
Und dann kommt ja
Looks
dieser
like you
Bildschirm.
wanted
Du hast
to make a choice
ernsthaft
after all.
10 Minuten gewartet, um zu sehen, was
Well, this
passiert?
one is yours. Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm
It is
going
now.
back.
Go back. Ach. Vielleicht sollten wir mal Folge leisten, aber...
How wonderful. Stanley was alone. Finally. This is great.
Wenn wir alles
he thought to
ausprobieren,
himself. This is what I've wanted all along.
haben wir
I
ja auch
got
nichts
what
mehr,
I wanted.
was ihr ausprobieren
When
könnt,
Stanley
oder?
came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Und wir Lift?
Ja,
Wir gehen mal.
ja,
Wir gehen jetzt mal.
gut.
Das Telefon
ist ein
könnt ihr
Argument,
ausprobieren.
ja, ist ein Argument.
Ja.
Ja, ist ein Argument, ja.
Aber wenn wir alles ausprobieren...
Wow.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Stimmt, kommen wir
Feeling a
jetzt
wave
einfach...
of disbelief, Stanley decided to
Büro
go
vom
up
Chef?
to his boss's
sein.
office. Coming to a staircase,
was?
Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Okay.
Downstairs. Wenn wir runter können, können wir runter. Das Spiel wird niemals enden. Das ist ein Knopf.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these
Das kann ich
rooms were
erklären.
starting to
Gnome.
look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Und wir sind noch da. Nothing.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Krass. Okay, alles klar. Wieder am
Okay.
Anfang.
Charakterwechsel?
Läuft das Spiel so lange, bis wir sagen, es ist Schluss?
Weiß. Ja, Telefon.
Stimmt.
Good morning. Thank you for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation. We are confirming your shipment of 1,327 cardboard boxes to your place of work. Can you verify that this is correct? Excellent. Your order will arrive shortly. Thank you again for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation.
Was zum Teufel? Was ist hier los? Oh Mann, das Spiel erinnert mich so unglaublich an den Film Stranger Than Fiction. Das ist so ein geiler Film mit Will Ferrell. Und da geht es auch darum, dass er irgendwann aufwacht und morgens beim Zähneputzen eine Stimme in seinem Kopf hört, die ihm sagt, er putzte sich die Zähne. Wie jeden Morgen erst auf der linken Seite, dann auf der rechten Seite. Und irgendwann stellt er halt fest, dass er die Stimme die ganze Zeit hört. Den ganzen Tag. Und es ist so witzig, weil er dann irgendwann merkt, er ist die Figur in dem Roman von einer der Bestseller-Autoren der Welt.
Okay.
Und dann findet er raus,
Stanley stood for a long time in one spot. It's
Stanley,
part
doch.
of a game. He likes to see how long he can go without dying. So far, he's doing excellent. And if he just stays right where he is, I'm sure he'll keep up that good momentum. Let's observe the genius at work.
alles klar, danke dir, ich erzähle weiter. Auf jeden Fall findet er dann raus, dass alle Figuren in ihren Geschichten am Ende immer sterben.
Mhm.
Und jetzt versucht er natürlich die Autorin zu finden, um zu verhindern, dass er am Ende stirbt. Und es ist ein geiler Film. Ich kann ihn euch allen empfehlen. Stranger Than Fiction. Schräger als Fiktion im Deutschen.
Sehr gut.
So, alles klar, weiter geht's. Sandy musste warten. So. Left, right.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Eben sind wir auch links gegangen, ne? Ja. Rechts kennen wir auch im Prinzip auch schon fast alles.
Oh, hast du.
Ich frage mich, ob
Yet there was not a single person here either.
unten auch noch
Feeling
eine
a
andere...
wave of disbelief, Stanley
Möglichkeit
decided to go up to his boss's. Coming to a staircase,
Da
Stanley
rennt man gleich
walked
nur im Kreis.
upstairs to his boss's office.
Bevor wir jetzt riskieren, dass wir nochmal im Kreis laufen die ganze Zeit.
Okay. What? Das ist neu? Oder?
Ja, das ist neu. Und die Gnomen sind auch neu. Hä?
Okay.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Okay. Ach, jetzt können wir es eingeben.
Total überdimensioniert.
Stanley
ich da was
just sat
Falsches eingeben?
around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845. Stanley simply began entering random codes into the keypad, knowing full well the sheer statistical 2845.
Mann. Oh
Forgot,
Mann.
but it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself. And Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
Kann ich das trotzdem noch eingeben? Was war das?
2845.
Okay. Schade. Ich hätte gedacht, dass er jetzt trotzdem noch was sagt. Ich meine, jetzt ist es zu spät. Hier kann man nicht weiter. Okay.
Oder doch? Wow, ist das dunkel.
Ich sehe gar nichts. Aber weiter kommen wir hier auch nicht, glaube ich. Nee, schade.
Ah.
Gut. Ich glaube, da können wir raufdrücken und nach unten. So sieht es bei jedem Boss im Büro aus. Glaube ich. Whoop-de-doo.
Whoop-de-doo.
Mal gucken. Whoop-de-doo, Gummischuh.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Ne, pss, pss.
Abgeschaltet.
Alles kaputt hier.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Escape.
Oh. Oh Mann.
Oh Mann. Das Spiel hat so viele Optionen. Ah.
Ah.
Es hat auf jeden Fall einen enormen Wiederspielwert.
Oh ja.
Ja.
Aber wir haben auch die bei der rechten Tür nach dem Relax-Raum oder dem Pause-Raum haben wir die Tür nach links gar nicht genommen. Nie.
Stimmt. Und wir haben auch das Wertungssystem immer mies bewerte.
Stimmt. Ja.
Alter.
Kommen wir geradeaus?
Ja, komm, wir lassen uns Mind controllen. Warte, das war doch im Tutorial. Also in der Trail-Version.
Ja, ja.
Stimmt, nur von der anderen Seite. Wo gesagt wurde, hier können wir
sein.
später hin. Okay. Was ist das? Zahlen.
Gar nicht lesen.
Ganz viele Zahlen. Ich drück mal.
Ja.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Gehört das nicht zu Matrix? Dieser Raum von dem... Wie war das eigentlich nochmal? Oh Gott.
Wie hieß der nochmal, der Charakter?
Peinlich. Schon so lange her, dass ich Matrix geguckt habe.
Ja.
Müssen wir wieder Matrix gucken.
Ja, ich glaube.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed.
Fired.
Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant
Kann man das
nothing.
lesen? Nee, ne?
Nicht von hier, ne. Aber da stand auf jeden Fall bei manchen Zahlen feiert.
Ja.
Wo waren wir? 400 irgendwas?
Waren wir nicht? Ich glaube, wir waren 300 oder sowas, ne?
Auf jeden Fall
Oder
sind wir nicht
200?
gefeuert. Also da war auf jeden Fall kein Feuer.
Okay.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No,
Ich finde diese
he
Frage so geil.
refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Okay. Ah, da oben können wir auch hin.
Boah.
Oh, Entscheidungen über Entscheidungen.
Was ist das denn? 4.
Eine 4.
Ah. Kein Kommentar dazu?
Nee. Pointless Button. Warning. Pointless. Auch die ganzen anderen Knöpfe hier. Bup, 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 bup. Da ist ein blauer PC, da gehe ich erstmal hin.
Disabled. Kannst du
Ist auch
da
kein Knopf dran.
unten in die Mitte gehen?
Ja.
Sollte man da unten in die Mitte gehen?
Ja.
Okay. Nix hier.
Ui. Gehen wir hier wieder raus.
Ja.
Und gucken wir erstmal. Oh,
Ah, die 3.
ach was. Wo sind die 1 und die 2?
Da kommen wir
Warte.
raus, ja.
Da hinten sind auch noch welche. Guck mal.
Ach so, 1, 2.
1, 2. Drück die mal in der Reihenfolge.
Ja, dann musst du jetzt die Treppe da hoch.
Nee, erstmal die 3.
Ach so, stimmt. Bei der Treppe hoch für die 4.
3.
Gutes Gedächtnis.
Ich?
Nee, ich.
Ach so. Und die 4. Wahrscheinlich bringt es nichts. Ja, war klar. Da hinten ist auch noch was. Okay.
Vielleicht gibt's noch mehr, ja.
Ah, auf jeden Fall haben wir jetzt schon 1, 2, 3, 4 gedrückt.
Mhm.
Das heißt, jetzt nächstes die 5.
Ich habe ja auch irgendwo schon die 10 gesehen.
10.
Ja, das war so
10.
ein Zwar neben einem Warnblinkanlagen-Button.
5.
Guck mal die farbigen Knöpfe ab.
Naja, sind keine Zahlen drauf.
Bei einem habe ich auf jeden Fall eine 10 gesehen.
Gut, aber ich gehe mal davon aus, dass die auch dann groß werden.
Bist du sicher?
Nee, nicht wirklich. Aber 10. Ich meine, wenn wir bis jetzt noch nicht mal die 6, 7, 8 gefunden haben.
Ah, vielleicht. Wer weiß.
Ja, ich habe jetzt nichts gesehen gerade.
Ah, du hast doch nicht richtig geguckt.
Ich habe geguckt.
Nein, du hast nicht richtig geguckt.
Natürlich habe ich geguckt.
Da, guck mal, eine 10. Jetzt hat er sie gedrückt.
Geil. Oh. Großen roten Knopf. Da muss ich drauf drücken. Mind controls idle, awaiting input. Da müssen wir rein.
Na gut.
Jetzt was vergessen haben, weißt du nicht.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
On or off.
Ah.
Was wollt ihr jetzt von uns? Er will, dass wir es ausstellen?
Ja, ich glaube schon. Ich weiß es nicht.
Wollen wir ihm einmal vertrauen?
Ja, Mann.
Stimmt, wir haben Mind Control ausgestellt, also sind wir nicht mehr in ihm drin.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes! He had won! He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Los.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Sollte stehen bleiben. Oder was?
Hm?
Wieso nein?
Nein, weil ich da gerne selber durchgelaufen wäre.
Was?
Ja, durch die Welt.
Ach so.
Da eben durch das grüne Tal.
Und täglich grüßt das Murmeltier.
Ja.
Wir haben auf jeden Fall gerade die Errungenschaft gekriegt. Beat the Game.
Ja, das haben wir vielleicht gemacht, vielleicht auch nicht.
Ich sag mal so, wir hatten schon einmal die Credits. Ich würde aber sagen, wir machen hier Schluss. Ja. Weil, ich sag mal, ihr braucht auch einen Anreiz, das Spiel zu spielen. Wenn wir alles schon gemacht haben, ist ja auch irgendwie doof.
Das ist richtig.
Da sehe ich nicht den Grund drin, vor allem nicht bei dem Spiel. Aber es ist cool.
Ja.
Und ja, vielleicht nehmen wir gleich nochmal eben schnell das Telefon ab und gucken selbst nochmal nach. Das probiert ihr aber selbst aus.
Genau so ist es.
Ich hoffe, es hat euch gefallen. Und ja, Wir machen erstmal weiter. Wir wünschen euch alles Beste beim Zuschauen. Und wir sehen uns beim nächsten Let's Coop. Und bis dahin,
Auf Wiedersehen.
alles Beste.